Hi, welcome back everybody. So it's been a few days since I have been using the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra and I thought I'd make a video and tell you guys how I feel about this phone. And before we begin, it goes without saying, if you enjoy watching my content, make sure to subscribe and follow me on my social media accounts. I'll put all the links in the video description. Also in the video description you will find the time code for this video, so in case you want to skip to any particular part, you can do that by checking out the time code. Alright, let's begin. So I will start off this review by talking about the design. I gotta say that the Note 20 Ultra is the most premium looking phone from Samsung till date. I've owned a couple of Note phones and the S series phones in the past, but by far this is the best looking Samsung phone I have ever come across, period. Everything on the Note 20 Ultra, starting from that massive triple camera setup to the general look and feel of the phone, screams premium, and it should, because this is a super expensive phone. I've got the Mystic Bronze color, and personally I'm not a huge fan of gold color phones because after Apple came out with the rose gold iPhone, the gold color has become too mainstream. But this one looks really good. Somehow it feels like a mix of rose gold and pink, but the thing is, it doesn't really stand out like the Aura Glow color did of the Note 10 Plus. And personally, if you would ask me, I would pick the Aura Glow color over golden hues any day. But again, color is a personal choice. Some people really like gold color phones, and if you are one of them, you are going to adore the Mystic Bronze Note 20 Ultra. I also just love that Samsung is now using frosted matte finish glass instead of glossy. That means the phone is no longer a fingerprint magnet and I don't have to constantly rub the back of the phone to wipe off those nasty fingerprints. And speaking of glass, you have the new Gorilla Glass Victus on the Note 20 Ultra, and Gorilla Glass Victus is the toughest Gorilla Glass till date, so that is why I will not be using a case with my Note 20 Ultra. You know, gotta show that gorgeous design and the huge camera bump. Also, in addition to the Gorilla Glass Victus, the phone also has a stainless steel frame versus aluminum on older models, so it should be pretty darn tough under normal circumstances. And I also want to say that the camera bump is huge, most likely because Samsung has crammed in a 5x optical zoom periscope camera underneath that glass. Now, because of the design, when you set the phone on the table, the phone will rest on the camera bump, and as you can see, it rests on the edge, so the camera lens will not get scratched, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, one side effect of this is that the phone does wobble if you apply a bit of pressure on the top left corner of the screen. This also used to happen on the Note 10 Plus, but on the Note 20 Ultra this happens a lot more because of the massive camera bump. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, finally, Samsung has put the power button and the volume button back on the right side of the phone, which I feel is more convenient, and there is also no Bixby key. So that's good. The headphone jack is unfortunately still missing, but since I have upgraded to Bluetooth headphones, this is not an issue anymore. And just like the previous Galaxy phones, the Note 20 Ultra also has an in-display ultrasonic fingerprint scanner, which works great. And ultrasonic fingerprint scanners are better and more secure than the optical fingerprint scanners. And all said and done, I adore the design of the Note 20 Ultra, and it feels like an expensive premium phone. Samsung has upgraded the camera system on the Note 20 Ultra. The primary camera, which is the middle one, is a 108 megapixel camera. This one also records videos in 8K at 24 FPS. The bottom camera is a 5x optical zoom periscope camera that is 12 megapixels, and the top camera is the ultra wide angle camera, also 12 megapixels. But the ultra wide angle camera does not have autofocus, and neither it has OIS. The other two cameras do have autofocus, and they are also optically stabilized. Also, the time of flight camera is now gone. It has been replaced by a laser autofocus system, and that periscope camera is the reason why we have such a big camera bump on the Note 20 Ultra. Now, when you take pictures without zooming in, the phone takes a picture at 108 megapixel, then it bins the pixels and outputs a 12 megapixel photo. And through this technique, they are able to reduce the noise in the photos. And here are a couple of photos shot with the 5x zoom camera. That is how I was able to get so close to my subject. The quality is also pretty good. Keep in mind, these are coming from the 12 megapixel sensor, not the 108. Now these are taken on the main 108 megapixel camera in 16:9 aspect ratio. That means the phone is downsampling these photos from 108 megapixel to 12. But the quality is awesome. These photos look as if they were taken with a proper camera, not a camera phone. So yes, I do adore the camera quality of the Note 20 Ultra. And yes, you can shoot photos with the full 108 megapixel resolution of the sensor. Like this photo was shot with the 108 megapixel setting, and because this is such a high resolution photo, you can zoom in all the way in. And the phone is able to capture quite a lot of details in broad daylight. You can even see the individual hair-like strands on the flower. Pretty awesome, right? Even in low light, the photos are crisp and sharp with minimal noise. I took this photo in almost complete darkness, and you can probably see it's quite bright. And there is also minimal noise in the photo, so that pixel binning technique does result in a really good quality photo. But the main feature of the camera is the zoom functionality. When you press the zoom button, you will notice the phone goes to 5 times zoom. This is when the 5 times periscope camera is being used. If you go beyond this, the phone will just crop the photo that is coming from the periscope camera. So I really don't recommend that you go beyond 10 times zoom at the most, because after that the quality of the photo will degrade substantially. You can probably tell from this video itself that the image does look a little bit blurry at 50 times zoom. So yeah, I would say stick to 10 times zoom at the most. 5 times is the best, because that is when you get the best image quality. And before you guys ask, yes, I did take a picture of the moon at 50x zoom. This has been taken without a tripod, so that is pretty impressive for a phone. You also get an ultra wide angle camera, but I find myself using the main camera or the telephoto camera a lot more than the ultra wide angle camera. And for a comparison, this is a photo which has been shot with the ultra wide angle camera. This one has been shot with the main, and finally the 5 times zoom camera. Also, in addition to the regular manual mode or pro mode as Samsung likes to call it, you also have the pro video mode. This is where you can shoot your videos in the new 21:9 aspect ratio, and thankfully all the settings like the ISO adjustment, the shutter speed can be adjusted while you are actually recording a video, which was not possible on the older Note 10 Plus. So if you are a videographer and if you like shooting a lot of videos, you will absolutely love the Pro Video mode on the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. And yes, USB microphones do work with the camera app of the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. So I've got my Blue Snowball connected through the USB. So this is a Type-C to Type-A converter, and the USB of the microphone is plugged in. And if we go over here to the microphone icon, I can use the USB microphone on my Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. This was not possible on previous phones, and apparently you can also connect Bluetooth microphone. You can see the little icon over there. But yeah, this is a nice feature. You can plug in a good quality microphone and then record a video. And speaking of videos, the phone also records 8K videos at 24 FPS. The only advantage of 8K video right now is that you can take high resolution 33 megapixel stills from the video. It's all about the raw pixel density. It does not magically improve the video quality over 4K. So unless you have an 8K TV or a PC with an 8K monitor, adequate storage which is capable of playing back 8K videos without frame drop, for now I would say that you should stick to 4K, not 8K. 4K video quality is fantastic. It is as you would expect from a flagship phone, and I have recorded this video at 4K 30 FPS, so it matches the rest of the project, and as you can see the video quality is quite good. The optical image stabilization is also doing a good job keeping the video steady even though I am just holding the phone in my hand. Also, the autofocus capabilities are quite good. I am trying to use the touch focus to keep the focus locked onto the butterfly, and for the most part the focus system seemed to be doing okay. So all said and done, I am quite satisfied with the video quality of the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. The front camera on the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra is a 10 megapixel camera with autofocus and an aperture of f2.2, and it is a 26mm wide-angle camera. It also does 4K videos at 60 FPS, and overall I would say the quality is okay-ish for a flagship. I wouldn't say it's an excellent camera, but it's okay. The quality is exactly the same as the older Galaxy Note 10 Plus. I felt that the front-facing camera quality is better on the Galaxy S20 Ultra than the Note 20 Ultra. That might be because the Galaxy S20 Ultra has a 40 megapixel front facing camera. This one only has a 10 megapixel camera. So on a 40 megapixel camera, they will be doing all that pixel binning, which results in a slightly higher quality photo. But yeah, that's a compromise on the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. And if I zoom in on this picture, you will be able to see the individual strands on my beard. And all said and done, I feel at this price point, Samsung should have included the S20 Ultra's higher megapixel count front facing camera. You also get live focus, which is used for blurring the background. Sorry about the frown on my face, the light is actually quite bright, but yeah, for the most part the subject detection is good and the phone will blur the background without having any issues. And if you press on the change background effect button, you get a couple of more options. My favorite is the color point option. So now the background is in black and white, and I will most likely make a separate video where I show you guys all the features of the camera. Now coming to the software, out of the box the Note 20 Ultra runs Google Android 10 with Samsung's custom skin called One UI 2.5. This custom skin adds a ton of features over vanilla Android, which kind of makes Samsung phones one of the most feature-rich devices in the market. There are just so many features on this phone, starting from the wireless DeX, which kind of turns any smart TV into a large screen extension of your phone. The beauty of this is that you can plug in a keyboard and a mouse on your TV, like I have a mouse plugged in right now, and this is how you can control Samsung DeX wirelessly through the TV. Samsung DeX is a lot like Windows. It kind of gives you a desktop-like experience, but all your apps and stuff are installed on the phone. And whenever I launch an app, it opens up in a window just like it does on a Windows 10 PC. And you can do true multitasking. You can have multiple windows open at the same time. This is seriously an amazing feature if you want to give presentations wirelessly, or you just want to show photos or videos to a friend of yours. So yeah, I am pretty impressed by the wireless Samsung DeX feature on the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. Now this feature should be carried over to the Galaxy Note 10 Plus. When it does, I'll make a video on it and let you guys know. And if you don't have a keyboard or a mouse to plug in into your TV, you can always use the phone as a mouse pad. You also have true multitasking using multi-window feature, and maybe you want to take a picture. I'll just take my S Pen out, long press the camera shutter button and launch the camera and take a picture in the background. So that kind of shows you how capable the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra really is. Then you also have edge lighting. Whenever you get a notification on your phone, the edges of the screen light up. New S Pen gestures, which kind of allow you to control your phone through the S Pen. Man, there are just so many features that you will absolutely love on this phone. And if you are wondering, Samsung's custom One UI skin is super smooth. You will never experience any lags or slowdowns like you used to a couple of years ago. And on top of that, Samsung has promised 3 Android updates starting with last year's Galaxy S10 series. So this phone should be eligible to get Android 13 in 2023, which is good because you really don't want to swap out your $1,300 phone after 2 years. Now coming to the screen, the Note 20 Ultra has a 6.9-inch dynamic AMOLED 2x display with an aspect ratio of 19.3:9. That is slightly wider than the Note 10 Plus. Also, the bezels are now super duper thin. And I must say, this is one of the best mobile displays you will ever see. The quality is top notch, as it has always been with the Galaxy Note series phones. The screen also gets plenty bright outdoors, so under direct sun the screen is easily visible. And obviously this screen does support HDR10+. Bright screens are also great for watching HDR content, and it also becomes fairly dim when the lighting is low. That is kind of important if you are going to use your phone at night. This screen is 6.9 inches, and that is 0.1 inches bigger than the Note 10 Plus and 0.5 inches than the Note 9. But overall, the actual form factor of these 3 generation notes is pretty similar, so I did not feel any big difference going back and forth between the 6.4-inch Note 9 and the 6.9-inch Note 20 Ultra. Also, this year the screen is capable of 120Hz of refresh rate. This makes everything really smooth, and you have to experience this in person because the smoothness won't be visible on the camera because I'm recording this video at 30 fps. Now take a look at this. I've recorded this clip at 240 fps and slowed it down to 30, and you can clearly see that the screen of the Note 20 Ultra does indeed have a higher refresh rate, and in real life this does translate into super duper smooth experience on the Note 20 Ultra. So yes, I used to think that 120Hz is a gimmick, but yeah, the difference is there, and you can tell the difference in real life. And right now only a handful of games do support the high refresh rate. Dead Trigger 2 is one of them, and again you can see this in the slow motion video that the game is definitely smoother on the Note 20 Ultra. And it does feel awesome in real life because the smoothness is quite obvious. I used to think going from 60Hz to 120Hz isn't really that noticeable, but finally after getting a taste of 120Hz screen in real life, I gotta say it is noticeable. But the thing is, all this fancy high refresh rate stuff does come at the cost of battery life, and also you will have to drop the screen resolution to Full HD Plus in case you want to use the high refresh rate option. So the thing is, I ended up switching to the standard 60Hz refresh rate with the resolution set to WQHD Plus. This also conserves battery power and gives you sharper text. So yes, even though the 120Hz feels great, I'm in favor of longer battery backup and higher resolution when it comes to phones. In addition to the high refresh rate, you also have 240Hz touch sensing rate. So the phone does respond to touch much quicker to the point where it's noticeable, especially while typing stuff. Now coming to the S Pen, this is not just a simple stylus. It does a lot more than just drawing and writing stuff on the screen. You see, the S Pen on the Note series is Bluetooth enabled. It's got a little super capacitor battery inside which charges wirelessly whenever you insert the S Pen into the phone. And apart from usual writing and drawing on the screen, it does a bunch of cool stuff, like you can use the button on the S Pen to launch the camera, then use the same button as a remote camera shutter button, or wave the S Pen like a wand to zoom in or zoom out. So you don't even need to touch the phone to take pictures. Quite a useful tool for taking group photos. And this year anywhere actions have been added, so this allows you to open up recents or go back or go home just by waving the S Pen in the air, or simply scribble the S Pen in the air to create a new note. It is truly a technological marvel. The S Pen input lag is also now non-existent. The S Pen response time is so good that it actually feels like you're writing on paper with an actual pen, and I think if you are an artist, you will definitely appreciate this. Now I'm not sure, but it feels like the S Pen's pressure sensitivity has been improved than the previous version of the Note. So if you are using the Note 20 Ultra and if you have used the previous Galaxy Note 10, let me know in the comment what you feel about the S Pen. I honestly feel that the pressure sensitivity on the Note 20 Ultra has been improved slightly. The Note 20 Ultra I've got is running the controversial Exynos 990 CPU that is paired with 12GB of RAM and 256GB of UFS 3.0 storage. Now during normal day-to-day use, the phone does fine. I did not experience any slowdown or lags, but initially when I started using the phone for about a day or two, it kind of felt warm to touch. After that everything settled down and it seems to run nice and cool now. Oh, and there has been one update, so maybe that fixed the heating issues. I'm not sure. Now I'm not a mobile gamer, but the phone does run Dead Trigger 2 at 120 fps, and yes, the game feels super duper smooth, but while gaming the phone does get fairly hot. After all, it is pushing 120 frames per second. Now let's be honest here. Samsung is charging us a hefty premium for this phone, and the Exynos 990 is an inferior chipset when it comes to performance versus the Snapdragon 865 Plus. And there is no denying that. There are many videos online that shows the shortcoming of the Exynos 990 versus the Snapdragon 865. You should check out Jerry Rig Everything's video. He did a benchmark between the two variants. This was one of the reasons why I skipped the S20 Ultra, and if Samsung keeps selling us slightly inferior chipset phones at a premium price, next year I might spend my hard-earned money somewhere else. So speaker quality is okay on the Note 20 Ultra. I do feel that the higher frequencies are somewhat lacking on the Note 20 Ultra compared to the Note 10 Plus. So that's one minor difference. Also, one major flaw I do feel on the Note 20 Ultra is that my pinky finger always blocks the speaker on the Note 20 Ultra. So the speaker is located on the bottom left side. So whenever I hold the phone with my right hand, my pinky finger always rests over here. So by default the speaker kinda gets blocked. This was not an issue on the Note 10 Plus because the speaker is on the bottom right hand side corner. So even though I rest my pinky finger like this, the speaker never used to get blocked. Maybe I gotta start holding the phone like this rather than putting my pinky finger at the bottom to support the phone. But anyways, you do have stereo speakers. One speaker is here and the other speaker is the earpiece speaker. So guys, we are almost at the end of this video, and the final thing I'd like to talk about is the battery backup, which is good but not excellent. Even though this phone has a relatively big 4500 mAh battery, most likely it is the power hungry Exynos chip. My Note seems to last about a day and a half on a single charge. This is with the 120Hz setting enabled and the brightness set to auto. And if you are a heavy user, I don't think your Note 20 Ultra will last more than one day. Now if you do set the phone to standard refresh rate, it will last about 2 days. At least it did for me. But of course your mileage may vary. I think I would have been more satisfied if Samsung had given us the same 5000 mAh battery like they did with the S20 Ultra, considering the extra premium they charge us for the Note series. The Note 20 Ultra also comes with a super fast charging 25-watt charger in the box, and using that charger I was able to charge the phone from 12% all the way up to 90% in 52 minutes. So yes, the charging speed is fairly good. I guess a lot of you will be charging your phone when the battery drops to 25 to 30%, and it really should not take more than 40 to 45 minutes to charge your phone up from 25%. So concluding thoughts. The Note 20 Ultra is the ultimate flagship phone available in the market right now. It is what you call the benchmark flagship phone to which every other phone that comes out in the next few months will be compared. But right now it is overpriced to the point where I keep asking myself, why did I spend so much money on this? And if you want to save some cash, as an alternative, I would suggest you to take a look at the Note 10 Plus. I know it's a 2019 phone, but trust me, it is still an amazing and an awesome phone. Anyways, let me know what you think about the Note 20 Ultra in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.